Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show. And today, history was made. What history was that? We're going to check that out in a moment. We're going to check out some stocks. We're going to check out some crypto, the altcoin market, Bitcoin, and some other stocks that we have been trading. And of course, a whole bunch more. Before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel. And of course, if you're a first-time viewer of the channel, hit that subscribe button and you'll get these updates daily. So what history was made? Well, of course, it was NVIDIA. NVIDIA officially becomes the first company in history to hit $4 trillion in market cap. Absolutely amazing. But a little bit of a warning, the S&P 500 has traded above its upper Bollinger Band for the past 8 days. The last time it did that was in July 2024, and then the SPY promptly corrected by 10%. So is it looking a little bit overcooked? We're going to have a look at that in the moment, although we do have this inverse head and shoulders on the SPY. So even though if there was a little bit of a pullback, I still do expect that to play out. It's well on its way to its target there, of course. And then Amazon has the golden cross that has happened, as well as an inverse head and shoulders. We're going to look at that trade as well. But first up, I want to talk about a trade that was taken 20 days ago in the Discord, and also I shared on YouTube. And that trade is SOFI. And I gave this trade because it had an inverse head and shoulders, amongst other things. Had an inverse head and shoulders here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And on the break of that neckline, I gave the trade around $14 20 days ago. I drew out this technical target way back. And look where it came to, exactly the target that I gave it at about $20.86. Pretty much, I would think, what did we hit there? 2089, and this one pretty much on the button, 2088, to the cent, people, not just to the dollar, but to the cent. And that trade played out brilliantly. Now, of course, I did share this with the YouTube family. In here, 3 trades I am taking. You could have taken this trade with me. You could have taken the trade in the Discord. We have a saying in the Discord: you gotta risk it for the biscuit. You got to be in for win it, and you got to take the trade. And there it is there. As we can see, SOFI key resistance 1466. This was 20 days ago. We'll take the trade on the break, and then the targets to the upside there, $21 target, but $20.88 was the actual target. And look, you can see there, absolutely fantastic. And we'll go all the way actually back up to this. You can see where I gave this there on the 18th of June. On the 18th of June, absolutely incredible. That trade played out brilliantly there. Absolutely fantastic. Now, the NVDX trade was another trade that I gave this morning. Absolutely popped off there. $14.90 was the entry. And we've been trading in NVIDIA, the ETF of NVIDIA, which is the 2x leverage of there. You get a little bit more gains on that one there. So let's have a quick look at that NVIDIA trade. Actually, we'll jump over here. It's NVDX is the ticker there, and that absolutely popped off this morning. That was great. We got that beautiful trade there to the upside. So the hour time frame, that's the time frame that we took that trade on, and looking extremely good, although we do have that signal there. So those of you in the trade, that probably may now have concluded, unless we come back here to $15.15. We've gone that trade down here at $14.90 on that green arrow, and that beautifully popped to the upside there. That was absolutely fantastic. So NVIDIA has created history and become the first stock to cross that 4 million threshold. Absolutely incredible. Okay, so there's a couple of trades that are done. I want to show you a couple of trades that are still in the works, and one of those is obviously AMZU. Now, despite Jeff Bezos selling a ton of his stock, probably to fund his lavish wedding, you still have that inverse head and shoulders pattern here, and we're still above the neckline, which we broke above, but just struggling a little bit here. Where I probably would get a little bit concerned is if we lost this 200-day moving average here at around 36.44, then we would be under the 9 EMA on the daily, and then that would turn over. And we know what happens when it turns over. First of all, when price goes below the 9 EMA on the daily, as you can see over here, price goes below it first. Well, first of all, and we learned this in the live session yesterday, went through a number of trades where first of all, you get the tribal trade signal. That's your sign to get out or to short. And then the second sign is when it drops below the 9, and then that's drop below the 9 EMA, there's dot pink line. And then when the 9 crosses below the 20, that's the final, the third place to get in the trade if you were shorting this to the downside. Now, you reverse this. Now, if the technical target, and I'm looking at AMZU, not the actual Amazon stock, because that's the 2X ticker for that. And you can see that that technical target, if it plays out, is 49. So that's quite some distance from where we are. But we did see SOFI play out beautifully. You can actually trade this on Amazon by just buying the Amazon stock, but I choose to do the 2X because that gives me a little bit more of a boost. So you can see there it's broken out of that descending channel. There's also a cup and handle pattern there that it's broken out of as well. So unless it was to lose that 9 EMA and then the 9 EMA crosses below the 20, that would be the warning, the danger signals there for me that there could be a little bit of an issue. We'll just move that 20 EMA on the daily up there. Okay, so Amazon is one. The other one was AMD, and we had the inverse head and shoulders pattern again. We did break the neckline. Again, the same similar situation to Amazon as we hold that 9 EMA. Now, you might ask, is it too late to get in this trade? Well, for both Amazon and for AMD, if you get in above the 9 EMA on the daily where it is now, as long as that holds that level. And you could say, well, yes, but we had the red dot there. But yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These daily dots, they tend to take about a week to play out, and we're almost at a week now. The stochastic RSI at the bottom is reached the oversold area, so we could see a reversal there soon. But the 9 EMA is the key. Got to see it above the 9 EMA, and most certainly you don't want to see the 9 EMA cross below. You see what happens when the 9 EMA crosses above. You don't want to see it cross below. And the technical target for AMD is up at around $180. And again, I'm trading the AMDL ticker, which is 2x leverage of AMD, and that gives 2 times the boost. So really are on a knife edge with both of those trades there, with both the Amazon and the AMD trade. But you can see here it's clearly broke the neckline. It actually got above the 50-week moving average, rejected and came down. So we'll see what plays out there. But yes, the key is the 9 EMA on the daily. Put that on your chart, hold above that level, and that can be a great play there. And then let's look across to the crypto market. Let's look at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has, what do we have for Bitcoin there? We are staying above. Look, there is this bullish wedge pattern that it broke out of. Now, it's right on top of the 9 EMA. So the same here goes. It really needs to hold the 9 EMA on the daily. If we see that roll over, then go below the 9 EMA, then the 9 EMA is going to cross below the 20, and we might see some downside there. We did get the red dot a few days ago, but it has been a few days. Like I said, sometimes this only takes 3 or 4 days before we get a reversal, sometimes 5, sometimes 7, sometimes 10. The technical target to this first wedge pattern that it's broken out of is actually up at $117,000. And in doing that, it would then enact the inverse head and shoulder pattern that Bitcoin does have on weekly. I'm not going to go back to that. We've done that every day for the past week, so please go back to any of the previous episodes. And that technical target is all the way up at $145,000. There's also a cup and handle pattern, which also has the same technical target at around $145,000. So we need to stay. Now, to invalidate this, it would break back into this wedge pattern. And this wedge pattern eventually comes to an end here because these two will meet together. I'm not going to draw them out yet unless we go back into it, and then breaks to the downside there, and that would invalidate that, and also obviously would invalidate the inverse head and shoulders pattern. Now, the inverse head and shoulders pattern needs to get above $112,000. So this level here, that level will trigger the inverse head and shoulders pattern. And if it can stay above that, retest the support, then headed up to around that 145,000. So those are the two lines in the sand there, 117 and 145,000. But the 9 EMA on the daily must hold, and it's pretty much right there. It tests that today. It bounced off of support. It's sitting at about a 108,360. That is your line in the sand. And what I'm looking there for is a close under there and then an open and a close below that level on the daily. That's really what I don't want to see. Let's look at total 2, which is the altcoin market, and then we'll look at one other play if we have time. This is breaking out a little bit here. What we held the 9 EMA on the daily. We're above the 50-day moving average. We are, if we stay above the 50-day moving average, we are going to get a golden cross here for altcoins, which would be great. And by the way, we're breaking up on the MACD here, which is also very strong. You can see the blue above the zero line there. Absolutely fantastic. So we want to see this stay above the 200-day moving average, a close and a rejection there. That brings the 9 EMA back into play. Now remember, we do not want to lose the 9 EMA on the daily when it comes to the altcoin market. Very, very important. And also, I will show you that on the monthly basis here, and I shared this in the live session yesterday in detail. I'll just do a quick overview here. We saw back in the last bull run, we saw this first red peak beautifully with the tribal trades reversal signal. We got another one here, and it came down. We got a little blue buy, and then we saw this rejection here on the monthly of the 200-day moving average. What do we need to see? Seeing the same thing here. We got this rejection here like we did over here with reversal, a bearish reversal. We see the same top here, reversing here. Great times to get out of your altcoins there using the tribal trade signal. Then we get this blue arrow here. We do have the green dot, which is different. So this is where this just stayed down here and flatlined into the bear market for a year. We are seeing a little bit of life. And what we do need to see is by the end of this month, we need to see it close above the 200-day moving average. Now, that's a ways off. And what happens if it just goes up to here from there? Well, it doesn't mean that we're waiting for trades. You can still make money. There might be some upside there. And we are starting to see some upside with the altcoin market. So there could be some trades on the table here. As you can see, Tribal Trades Indicator said, yes, a buy for altcoins on the 23rd of June. And we've been up ever since. First place to take the trade is when the green dot comes. Second place is when we break above the 9 EMA. And the third place to take the trade is when the 9 EMA crosses the 20 EMA. You can get the trade in 3 places, 1, 2, and 3, and you're golden. And by that time, you've made plenty of money. Same thing here. You take the trade here. Back at the beginning of June. This time, the Tribal Trades Indicator is the first one that fires off. That's why it's the one indicator to rule them all. And then the second time you take the trade is it breaks through the 9. And the third time is when the 9 breaks through the 20 and you had a golden move there. So total 2. Let's look at one altcoin that we have time for very, very, very quickly here. And it's Solana. And we haven't quite got the breakout. There is an inverted head and shoulders pattern here. The technical target I have drawn actually, that's at 180, about 188 there. And we don't have a confirmed breakout yet. We really do need Solana to close above the 50-day moving average on the daily time frame. The good thing, and where we're going to get invalidated here, a loss of the 9 EMA on the daily, which is sitting at around $150. So we need to hold the 9 EMA on the daily. And of course, the 50-day moving average is sitting at about 154. Okay. If you're wondering, how do you get the Tribal Trades Indicator? It does come with the Tribal Trades Discord. It's a paid indicator, but it comes included in your Discord membership. You don't have to pay extra. However, the Discord is currently closed. It closed on July the 7th. We had it open for a good period of time, but you can get on the waiting list. We have people already signing up for the wait list. How do you get on the wait list? There is a link in the description of this video. You might need to click the more button. That can pop out, and there is a top link in the description is the Tribal Trades Discord link. You click on that, you sign up. You won't be charged. You won't be charged until you get admitted to the Tribal Trades Discord when your turn is there. When we do open up the Discord, at some point, we will open it up again, by the way. At some point this year, you will have your place. All you're doing is holding your place in the wait list so you get priority. Also, anytime somebody who may not renew their subscription, we wish them all the best. But when they do not renew the subscription, then we do move people off the wait list into the main area of the Discord. So you may get sooner access. So the sooner you get on the wait list, the sooner you can get access to the Tribal Trades Discord and the Tribal Trades Indicator and all these wonderful channels. My favorite channel, of course, is the wins channel. Some more incredible wins here. April absolutely smashing it again, both in stocks and crypto. Tonge, April Parker again. Some great trades of Solana here with Donut, $1,000 there. Absolutely fantastic. And the Rev himself with a great bonk long there, $411. Pretty much pays for a year of the Discord in just one trade there almost. Absolutely fantastic. All right, well, that's all we have time for today. And of course, until the next episode or until I see you on the Discord, happy trading.